On the morning of day 3, I'm blood trailing the deer I had shot from the day before, and this is a quick recap of that.
Well, I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime, but never have I shot a deer with 3 arrows through the chest, back to back, and not be able to find the deer. Blood trailed him 200 yards, and I shot him in this graveyard right here. We're calling him the Ghost Buck.
While I was busy blood trailing my deer, Matthew was busy shooting one of his own. Matthew sent me a text earlier saying that the buck got by him and he wasn't able to get a shot off, but he apparently grunted this buck back to him and is going to attempt to make a shot on him. The buck seems a little nervous and he's trying to draw his bow back on the buck, but sometimes when they're this close you have to learn to draw your bow back slow and deliberately without making a lot of noise. He makes a great shot on this deer. It runs off. You heard that bow make that clicking noise. That's actually that camcorder mounted on a side bracket on his bow. It's got a spring-loaded mechanism, and when he draws the bow back, it has a stop at the end of the wall on the draw length, and when it does that, it makes that click noise. And that buck heard that noise, looks up at him, and causes him to kind of rush his shot a little bit. It doesn't take very long before other deer start filtering through the area. He's giving his buck a little bit of time before he gets down and starts the blood trail. A lot of times after a shot, I'll take my binoculars and try to look at the arrow on the ground around it to kind of get an indicator of the hit.
That's the tree I was in. Buck was standing on the other side of that dead cedar tree yesterday when I shot and missed him. Today he came off the hill, worked his way behind me, and headed out towards that big field over there. I grunted a few times. He didn't seem like he was interested at the time. It seemed like he kept walking. About 5 minutes later, he had turned and was heading straight towards me. I couldn't see him anymore. He just kind of reappeared back under my stand. And he was standing right over here. So I'm at the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 steps. There's my arrow. And there's my tree. I had a 10-yard shot. It looked like I hit him high. Had to rush the shot a little bit because he spotted me up in the tree when I pulled my bow back. He ran just over there. Hopefully, that's where he's laying. We'll find out.
Matthew said he had pretty good blood on the ground, said it was easy to follow, wasn't having no difficulty at all looking for the deer. While he's blood trailing his deer, I had given him a text message and told him I needed some help trying to blood trail my deer. He blood trailed his out to this field edge and actually saw his buck out there in this field still standing on his feet, apparently chasing these does. So he decided the best thing for him to do was to back off of his deer, come help me blood trail my deer, and hopefully come back later and find his deer. So this is starting to be a father-son thing, habit that we've got here about blood trailing and trying to find our deer. This is the kind of blood I had from the night before. I had lung blood, puddles where he stood each time. Not hard to follow at all.
The last place he stood, the first place he stood looked about like this. He ran over here, stopped. Blood is just not that great for 3 arrows going through a deer. I never heard him walking through this stuff here. He walks so quiet, so slow.
These animals never cease to amaze me at what they can do. Well, back to the morning blood trailing.
Well, I'm on blood, but it's in these red and yellow and maple leaves, and they got red spots everywhere, and it's getting hard to find and stay on blood, but I'm gonna find this deer, I hope. I've not been getting it on film because I'm really having a hard time with this blood trail and I'm having to focus on it hard. But these deer are chasing does like crazy. I've seen 2 does and 2 bucks just blood trailing this deer that I shot. And they're grunting, they're going crazy. I almost had a deer run over right then. Like to freak me out. Couldn't get the camera on in time. I'm back to blood trailing.
I didn't want to stop this video without any closure on at least one.
After 24 hours and over a mile of blood trailing, I found my buck. Unfortunately, so do the buzzards. I can't use the meat. But at least we did find him, and he did die. Good deal.